economic relations to a new level. We agreed on China setting up 2 industrial parks in India, in Maharashtra and Gujarat. We are pleased that both chief ministers are here. We have agreed on cooperation in the upgrading of India's railway sector. I have invited Chinese companies to invest in India's manufacturing sector. President Xi spoke of $20 billion of Chinese investments over the next 5 years. Some of the business agreements will take shape in Shanghai tomorrow. I believe it will be much easier to translate our vision into reality if provincial and state governments come to closer contacts. It will also serve our other interests, especially promoting greater people-to-people contacts, which is at the heart of all relationships. Between India and China, we already have sister state relationship between Gujarat and Keqiang. We also have a number of sister city relations. During this visit, we will see the launch of Karnataka Sichuma relations and 4 sister city relationship. It is also consistent with the spirit that President Xi began his visit to India in Ahmedabad and I started the visit in Keqiang. These are welcome developments. We are truly taking our relationship outside our national capitals to state capitals and cities. So, it is a great pleasure for me to join Premier Li in launching this forum. It will have our full support and I wish it all success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Prime Minister Modi addressing the provincial forum at this moment. Of course, they will break for lunch at this moment and then a lot of engagements through the course of the day. The Chinese Premier too is speaking at this moment. Let's cut across live.
尊敬的莫迪总理、女士们、先生们、朋友们，今天这个时刻，对中印两国来说，的确是有历史性的意义。莫迪总理刚才不论是在面对记者，还是在这里发表演说的时候，都说这是第一次印度政府和另外一个国家的政府签署了地方层面的合作协议。他也讲了这个协议的签署所具有的意义和动力，这就使我想到中国自改革开放30多年来，取得了巨大的经济和社会发展成就，其中一个重要的原因，用中国话说叫做调动2个积极性，就是中央和地方的积极性。单靠一个积极性，用高度集中的计划市场难以发挥基础性乃是决定因素，因为市场活力的 表现，市场力量的强化是需要千千万万。
Actually,
我们现在正在
if we want to realize the full potential of
大众
the
创业。
we need to
It's a high-octane visit, 3-day visit. Today is the second day, the second leg of the 3-day visit, where crucial MOUs have been signed. A lot of straight talking has been done. The Prime Minister, in his statement just a short while back, has addressed certain concerns also. As Mr. Manoj Joshi put, he did some amount of straight talking. But what really is the reality? What really is something that we should actually be seeing as the truth behind these talks? I believe, Mr. Joshi, there is a joint statement that has now come out. The joint statement goes into greater detail in terms of tangible content that one can actually bank upon, that this is the real stuff that was discussed and this is realistically what is going to happen. What are the findings?
See, tangible and joint, in the sense
Yeah.
this is what both are agreed on. You see, because Prime Minister said, I raised this, I said this, I told them this. But the joint statement is what summarizes what we have actually achieved. And the joint statement is, in my view, fairly anodyne, meaning on the border, it restates the old positions. On the issue of CBMs, it again restates everything. I was expecting that there would be some movement in what the Chinese had been raising, the issue of a code of conduct,
Right.
to further the peace and tranquility issue, but even that is not there. Neither have we seen any reference to the visa issue, to the staple visa issue, though the Prime Minister in his statement said, look, I raised it with them. So the Prime Minister raised the issue of clarification of LAC. Now again, that is not there in the joint statement, which means that the Chinese have not agreed to it, because joint statement only contains that material which there's agreement between the two sides. So I would say that some tough talking has gone on, hard bargaining has gone on, and I think in the end it's probably a draw more than anything else. You know,
Professor Deepak, you know, the point that Mr. Joshi is actually mentioning, the only one crucial point that one can see is point number 11 of the joint statement, which too Mr. Joshi maintains is something which is a stated position. At the end of every diplomatic visit, you would have statements like these made. It says the two sides affirmed that an early settlement of the boundary question serves the basic interests of the two countries and should be pursued as a strategic objective by the two governments. What have we achieved at the end of this, you know, bilateral discussion?
I think this is
on the crucial contentious issues.
I think this is on the expected lines. You know, I was not expecting much on border issue because of the stated position and the status quo on the ground. But I think India, this is my personal statement, that India should not be forcing China for the border resolution. You know, if China is not willing, then why should we be in a hurry? You know? Let there be discussions, let be enhance our economic partnership in other area, and when this partnership reaches to a certain level, say, you know, $500 billion US, as China has having with Japan and US, I think some of the issues, you know, so they would be resolved automatically. For example, the issue of Sikkim, you know, they didn't show it in Indian map for, you know, decades. But in 2000, it was shown inside the Indian map. Now you see the Chinese map, and I think we do not need a certificate from China for our territories which are, you know, under our jurisdiction. You know, and let it go on and make long-term strategies, you know, for future development. Look at the big picture where we are heading towards, and let us integrate our economy in a way that, you know, these issues, they become irrelevant, and, you know, we reach a solution at a later stage.
Okay. Quick closing comments from you, Ambassador Dasgupta, as we head into another short break, because I believe even the engagement over there, they've broken for lunch, and then post that, you know, the softer diplomacy is at play again. You have the visit to the Tsinghua University. You have the very important, much talked about yoga and Tai Chi event at the Temple of Heaven. Your you know, concluding comments on this joint statement. Have we achieved much, or should we have always been realistic?
No, I'd say that there's substantial achievement, not in all areas, as Manoj Joshi pointed out, and I think also the professor pointed out, on the border issue, there's really not much movement, and that includes the question of CBMs along the line of actual control, mechanisms to strengthen it and to ensure that the sort of incidents that we've seen occur recently are not repeated, that sort of thing. We don't seem to have had any concrete movement in these areas or on the staple visa issue. Having said that, there are still substantial areas where we've moved forward. The first is in investments,
Right.
railways specifically. The second is in setting up these new consulates in Chennai and Chengdu. I think that's an important step. The third is movements of persons, spreading a greater awareness of language and culture of the two sides. These, I think, are very important. And in Shanghai tomorrow, we'll probably see very substantial commercial deals. So basically, the forward movement that has taken place is in the people-to-people area and in the economic area. That's a very substantial movement.
Absolutely.
And another thing which is very important politically, because it's not as if the Prime Minister is coming away with an empty political sort of portfolio, is the agreement, I think, the understanding that these high-level visits should be frequent and regular. That, I think,
Absolutely.
is very
And more
important.
province to state partnership, breaking it down, as the Prime Minister mentioned, we have to take it away from Delhi and Beijing and get this sort of collaboration down to the states. Perhaps this is good to hear, but how much of it is actually going to make a lot of difference? And the one crucial point that we missed while summing up was the fact that China now acknowledges the trade imbalance. We have had that mentioned in the joint statement that they actually issued. Stopping for a break at this moment, we'll be back with our non-stop coverage. Remember, there in Beijing, they've broken for lunch at this moment, and then, of course, the crucial second part of today will be the visit to the Tsinghua University and the much talked about joint yoga Tai Chi event that is expected later in the evening, and the Prime Minister then flies off to Shanghai for the third day or the third leg of his 3-day tour to China. You're watching the non-stop coverage. Namaste China, right here on Headlines Today.